first topic here this evening, and that is 5 big reasons the Packers will dominate in 2025. This was a fun one to put together, just kind of going through and really asking the whole intraweb, the AI system, hey, what are the 5 reasons the Packers could dominate this year? And here's what we came up with. While the media hypes the usual teams, Green Bay is quietly building a juggernaut. The Packers aren't just playoff hopefuls. They're poised to run the NFC in 2025, and the league is about to take notice. Forget the skeptics. The Packers are set to dominate thanks to elite drafting, development, and coaching. Today, we're breaking down the 5 biggest reasons this team is a serious threat, from a franchise quarterback's rise to a roster built for a deep playoff run. 2025 is the year it all comes together. No surprise here, Jacob. Reason number 1, the ascension of Jordan Love and the offensive firepower. The biggest reason is Jordan Love. Doubts are gone. He's a top-tier quarterback and still improving. In his 3rd year as a starter, he mastered LaFleur's system. Despite 2024 injuries, he led the team to more wins than 2023. Isn't it funny? We talked about how he took it. Some people were talking about how he took a step back, but yet we turn around and we win more games this past year than we did in 2023. Now, I know Malik Willis played a role in that, coming in one game where he came in off the bench and then the other 2 with the start. But nonetheless, Packers have improved on their overall record. It says now healthy, he's primed for a breakout year. Love isn't alone. Josh Jacobs, when healthy, is a punishing workhorse who wears down defenses. The passing game is loaded with young talent. Receivers Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and Dontavion Wicks, plus tight ends Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave form a dynamic group. The offensive line, led by Zach Tom and Elton Jenkins, with depth from Jordan Morgan, gives Love time and opens lanes for Jacobs. This versatile, explosive offense can score on anyone. Notice it didn't even mention Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, and some of the other pieces we're putting in place. Didn't mention Marshawn Lloyd, who some people have a lot of high hopes for if he indeed can stay healthy. What do you think about reason number 1 being Jordan Love? I think it begins and ends right there at the quarterback, right?
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be pretty typical for most teams, but I really do think that Jordan Love has the potential to absolutely ball out in a way that we haven't seen yet, which is crazy because if you look at that back half of the 2023 season, the dude was arguably a top 3 quarterback. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that could, if you look at the numbers, if you look at the way he performed, you just can't argue that there's anything different than that. And, you could blame a lot of things on injuries. You can blame a lot of things on being a new kind of starter and being a novice and that sort of stuff, which is all, I think, relevant, topics to actually bring up. But I just think that there's something in the water. I feel it in my bones that this dude is going to take a step to the point where we're going to see, barring injury, of course, that we're going to see Jordan Love take a step that is going to be planting him very, very securely in the top 10 of NFL quarterbacks. I don't see a situation, like I said, other than an injury or like a weird, crazy thing going on, that that team is right now. We have built Matt LaFleur, Brian Gutekunst, even, Ed Policy, who is now, I believe, in charge officially, isn't he now?
Yep.
Like they've built
July 25th,
quite an establishment here, quite a roster, Okay. Gotcha. But I mean, this is a deep team, guys. And the biggest glaring need to me is going to be cornerback, not quarterback. That's what I would say.
Okay. Got it. All right. Reason number 2, an elite, deep, and versatile roster. Reason 2 is roster depth. GM Brian Gutekunst's draft success, hitting on picks across all rounds, has built a complete 53-man squad. This depth means injuries don't derail the team, a rare luxury. The defensive front with Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Lucas Van Ness, and Brenton Cox Jr. is a relentless rotation that keeps pressure on. It's amazing how some people are still talking as if this defensive line sucks. I seen in the chat the other night, I've gotten added to like 10 different chats on Twitter, and I have no idea how I end up in them. People just randomly add me to them. I didn't get asked. It's just, bang, you're here. So there's probably something in the settings I'm screwing up. But it was just talking as if stats prove the Packers pass rush was bad. And I'm like, what stats are we looking at? What are we looking at? Because it's like people will cherry pick pass rush win rate. When the sacks are up, they go to pass rush win rate. When the sacks are down, then they lean on the sacks, like as if the sacks are everything, right? So just wild. The secondary led by Xavier McKinney's playmaking includes Keyshawn Nixon and younger corners like Kalen King. Special teams, once a weakness, is now a strength under Rich Bisaccia, and Brandon McManus and Daniel Whelan adding reliability. This deep, balanced roster defines great teams. I didn't even mention Carrington Valentine, who I'm most excited about. Jacob, I know you're worried about the cornerback room a little bit, but I'm telling you, man, we've played without Ja. You know, it's not going to be this huge drop off now that Ja's gone, especially if we continue to call the defense that we have, where we're playing more of a little bit safer approach, a 4-man rush, albeit we're simulating some pressure, but still just rushing forward the majority of the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, I definitely would have to think that the cornerback room would be the most suspect for me, but I also think that we maybe have the most hidden talent that we have not seen what they can come to fruition. We got guys like Kalen King. We got guys like Micah Robinson. We've got guys that, I mean, even if you want to, like you said, Valentine, dude, like he's shown way more on the field, and I don't think he's getting enough respect for that. And, you know, I still got, I'm the president of the Javon Bullard fan club, and I'm not willing to let one kind of shaky rookie year dissuade me from thinking that this dude's going to be an absolute stud. I really do think that. Drew D, like you talk about our safeties, he's talking about Zane Anderson. The depth is unreal. Evan Williams, Oladapo, all right? Like, we have got dudes waiting in the hopper. Yeah, Tyron Hopper. How about that?
Hey,
it's just, hey, Tim, how are you?
I'm good. I love Tyron Hopper too. You know?
Yeah, I know you
Dynamite drop in. Let's go to the chat here. At Steve DTA said the defense is going to be better than ever with Covington as a new defensive line coach. That's something I'm very excited about. Daryl in the chat says Packers defense had high numbers on defense. Got to give credit Jeff Hafley's defensive scheme. The scheme was it was beautifully put together, man. And the way he adapted early, like, okay, we're not going to hit home with pressure with 4 right out of the gate. Let's keep one guy back. Hey, listen, if we're not going to be hitting home for a lot of sacks, let's make sure we're protecting the rush lanes. Is the big thing that I came away with. Drew in the chat says we've got a lot of guys that will benefit from another year in a Hafley scheme and another year of experience. And really, Drew, just getting used to the coaches. You know, Tim, that's a big part of this, dude, is these players, they've got 1 year under their belt with Hafley, and now they're going to be able to come back, and he understands them and what they do good a little bit better. They understand him and his coaching style and exactly what he's asking for. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if the defense takes a slight step back just because these teams have all this coaching tape on our defense now. But at the same time, these guys are going to be a little bit better prepared this year too, Tim.
I agree. It's like Jacob was just saying about Bullard, right? I'm not going to give up on Bull either, man. Like 1 year, come on. You know, like we talk about, hey, coverage skills need to, you know, improve a little bit. Some bad looks. You look at some tape, you see some things you don't like. It's like you say, Clay, we don't want to look at a player for what he can't do. We want to look at him for what he can do. And I think another year in Hafley's system, guys like Bullard, we haven't really even scratched the surface on Kalen King, some of these other guys. So I fully expect them to take a year or two leap for sure in this system.
Yeah. Chris in the chat says Hopper was a second-round talent, according to Goot. That's something that gets swept under the rug all the time. You know, we got him in the 3rd round, and we had him significantly lower on our board, but Goody came out and said they had a second-round pick on him, or a second-round talent on him, if I remember correctly. A great comment there, Chris. Moving on, number 3, coaching continuity, exactly what we were just talking about, and strategic upgrades. Reason 3 is coaching. Matt LaFleur's winning culture and NFC best regular season record since 2019. I repeat, Matt LaFleur has the best regular season record in the NFC since 2019. It provides stability, offensive continuity with Adam Stenavich, lets young players refine their game. Additions like Luke Getsy and Sean Mannion bolster Love's development. Defensively, Jeff Hafley transformed the unit in 1 year, making it aggressive and effective, especially against the run. His intense style paired with DeMarcus Covington's defensive line expertise maximizes this roster's potential. This blend of stability and innovation is a winning formula. Really, really excited to see what Covington can do this year with this defensive line for sure, man. Going to be a blast. Moving along.
Can I mention something?
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
I'm not sure if you guys had covered it on one of the podcasts I missed, but did you see, I can't remember if it was NFL or somebody, one of the official, websites or sites or whatever, listed their 10 top their top 10 NFL head coaches. And once again, Matt LaFleur was left off that list.
Yeah, we hit that.
Giving the numbers that
they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, we hit that one. We were blown away by it, Jacob. Uh-oh, we lost Jacob. Can you hear Jacob, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, I can't hear Jacob. I think we're good now. Jacob, try it.
I said, why is that still the narrative of Matt LaFleur?
Dude, I don't get it, man. Before it was always, well, he's got Aaron Rodgers. He's got Aaron Rodgers. Now he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, and there's no excuse. Like, the dude just continues to win. He continues to win. Mind-boggling. So, reason number 4, defensive growth and flexibility. The fourth reason is Hafley's defense, which improved dramatically and is just getting started. It's aggressive, creating turnovers with ball-hawking DBs and zone-heavy coverage. The versatile front with Gary and Van Ness generates pressure without risky blitzes. Xavier McKinney's range lets corners play tighter, and a full offseason will refine this system. This defense, once a liability, is now a game-changing weapon. Once again, we finished second in run defense, and we were a top 10 pass defense. We finished 9th in sacks on the front. LVN finished with almost 12% pressure rate. Gary cracked 13%. Both of those were a higher pressure rate than TJ Watt. Max Crosby played 98% of the snaps out there for the Raiders, right? Played, 17 games or something, whatever the total games were. And he only finished with the same amount of sacks as Gary, who played like I think it was 59% of the snaps. So it's absolutely huge. I think that we recognize what Hafley's done with this defense. Tim, you got anything to add to that, brother?
I think about what you say, like, you get a year 2 coordinator, you got things on tape, defense might take a step back, but I give credit to Haf and wonder about, what is he going to do different this year, right? How are we going to tweak the schemes? How are we going to tweak the looks? We have different personnel, right? We may have personnel in different spots. We talk about the hockey line approach. We talk about maybe letting guys get more snaps and maybe not take the hockey line approach. I think this year is going to be, from a defensive perspective, I think it's really going to, it's going to lie in the fact that Hafley's got to be creative, and I think we will be. So at the end of the day, man, the defense could take a step back probably early in the year, but by the time we make that playoff push, man, we're trying to close out the season. I think we'll be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. And then number 5, organizational stability and youthful upside. Finally, the Packers combine stability and youth, one of the NFL's youngest teams. They've made the playoffs twice, proven their core is battle-tested and still ascending. While others face aging rosters or cap issues, Green Bay's window is wide open. Gutekunst's drafting and minimal free agency losses ensure continuity and hunger. That's one thing to mention about Goody. What free agent has he swung and missed on? I can't think of one. Like, ever since he got to Green Bay, he has not spent big money on a player that didn't pan out. Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith were dogs those first few years that they were with the Packers, right? I mean, they were absolute monsters. He goes out and gets Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs, both of those guys Pro Bowl players. Like, he is so good in free agency, which that's why I had to take a step back when I looked this year and they signed Aaron Banks. On the surface, you want to go, man, that don't make sense. Aaron Banks don't look like this superstar guard. But then when you look at the contract, it's really just a 2-year deal. You can get out of it after 2 years. And on top of that, I think we need to step back and trust Goody's ability to evaluate free agency.
That was my reaction, Clay. I saw the Banks signing. I'm like, oh, wait, what? And then I watched some tape and I was like, oh, looks pretty good. And then I looked at the contract and I went, in Goot we trust. There's got to be a method to the madness. And I think at a certain point, part of being a fan is allowing yourself to do that and just be a fan, trust in your organization, believe in these guys that are put in these positions to make these decisions. And, like I said, in Goot we trust, man. I'll take it.
It goes on to say, love the receivers, and Hafley's defense are just hitting their stride. This isn't a one-year shot. It's a team built to dominate for years. Obviously, man, they are the window is wide open. It's officially open. Last year, I hesitated saying that because we had the youngest roster in the league, and I've talked about that over and over and over. Love it, but yeah. So I feel like now is the time, and you just continue to add to that roster year in and year out for sure. So, conclusion: here's why the Packers will dominate. Love's rise, a stacked roster, elite coaching, a fierce defense, and a young, stable organization. The buzz in Lambeau is about to explode. This team is a certified contender. Subscribe for more breakdowns and comment your boldest 2025 Packers prediction. Hit that up in the YouTube comments. If you're on our Patreon group, which is where this article is at, feel free to drop a comment in there as well. I wanted to point this out before we move on to the next topic, which is Edgerrin Cooper. Check this out, guys, and shout out, I believe it's Greg Rice in our Patreon group. Share this in one of the many chats we got in there. Just another perk to being a member of our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, or scan the QR code in the upper right. Last time each NFL team had 3 or fewer wins. So the Browns did it. The Browns and the Titans did it in 2024. The Panthers did it in 2023. The Bears did it in 2022 along with the Texans. The Lions did it as early, or as recent, I should say, as 2021 along with the Jaguars. Then it was the Jets in 2020, the Bengals and the Commanders in 2019. Then you get a flurry of teams, just onesies here, right? You got the Vikings 2011. Look where the Packers are at. The Packers have not had, again, they've had 3 or fewer wins. The last time the Packers did that was 1958. I repeat, 1958. The Baltimore Ravens have never done it since their existence, but obviously they came into the league, I think, in the year 2000.
Is that considered Baltimore's franchise, though? Is that the Baltimore Colts as well as the Ravens?
That's a great question, Tim. I don't know if the Baltimore Colts ever had it or not. That's a great question. You would think they'd put the Baltimore Colts there.
Right.
I think they're just talking about the Ravens in general since they launched in 2000. So, but if that is the case and you were to remove Baltimore, right, then the Packers, that blew me away, 1958, because I thought for sure it happened in the 80s or something. Or maybe
I was going to say, I thought the 80s were the dark ages. Holy cow. At least they didn't only win 3 games.
Yeah. So, again, there it is, 5 reasons the Packers will dominate in 20.